What was your eureka moment when you figured out that this is going to be big? How do you think like AI film, like a filmmaker is going to change in the future?
I think one of the things that overwhelmed AI is coming to take over my job.
So Shakun, I'm super excited to meet you here in Dubai. We are here at 1 billion followers summit, and you're like one of the most acclaimed Bollywood filmmakers. You've done some wonderful movies which I have watched and loved. I'm so curious to meet you at a AI panel. I was like, what brings you to AI? What are you excited about?
I think there are very few people, summits where you can actually interact with lot of other AI filmmakers around the world and people of building the AI ecosystem, including yourself. And I think for me, it's really interesting not to just know what's happening in the AI filmmaking world, but what other things are going to add up to it. For me, yeah, it is a great opportunity to get to meet filmmakers, AI ethics team, the lab that you and I went to. Yeah. It was so fascinating. So you see that how it's going to shape multiple different aspects of our life. And then filmmaking just happens to be one thing. And that also gets affected. We don't feel like, oh, I'm the only one whose life's about to change. We're like, oh no, I guess really civilization is going to go through something huge. Yeah. And I want to be aware. I want to be prepared. I want to kind of go through it with as much knowledge as I can.
Kevin, what surprises me about you is whenever we have had this conversation about the tools and processes that you're using for like, creating these AI generated ads or like parts in film, you're so aware of the tools and like the processes, the models. That is something that is very surprising to me because not a lot of people are doing the same. Like you're so forward into learning about all of these things. You are one of the first movers in the film industry to think about, hey, how do we cut down on the production cost? How do we do better, faster, better ROI films for that matter? So, what was your eureka moment when you figured out that this is going to be big?
Oh, the eureka moment happened purely by default. I was obviously, we were all looking at Mid Journey and then Sora, and I was shooting a commercial where I shot, I was supposed to shoot a highway, and I wasn't getting permission to shoot the highway. It's not easy. And I was like, why don't we just try these tools and see what we get? Regardless, I did create a traffic jam in a studio set with like 40 cars, chroma screens. And then while I was doing that, I was also trying to create shot. Yeah. And, the client just the AI shot and not the shot that I shot. Yeah. And for me, that was like, oh, you can get to a point, and it's not just entirely, I think, from a place of faster. I think faster is actually not the right maybe definition for it right now. Right now, it's not fast enough because it's, some of the things still take time. We are still learning the tools. Some of the things are impossible to create. But I think it will get faster. It will get to a point where it makes more sense to really kind of marry traditional and AI together. And I'm really hopeful of a hybrid model where as a filmmaker you can choose what are the things that are really sacred to you that you don't want to compromise on, and what are the things that you can really kind of bring your budget down. Right? And it will be a choice for every maker how they want to use it. Yes, there will be entirely and I believe there will always be entirely traditional films. And I find it so weird because at AI summits like this, I'm introduced as a traditional filmmaker, and that makes me feel like a dinosaur. And I think that's part of the reason I'm like, oh, I want to learn more AI because I'm just feeling so old at the point. But no, I really feel we have to keep making movies the original way, and AI can be something that we kind of create a parallel pipeline for, and in new creators will start with that. But I think both have to.
Absolutely right. Something that you mentioned, like structuring, right? And this is something that I've seen in different industries as well. Everyone who's been doing a traditional job, traditional way, in every single industry is fearful of AI taking over their jobs. They are feeling that, hey, am I going to be irrelevant? Like, is my job title going to be irrelevant? What is your perspective? What are the kind of fears you have heard in film industry? And how do you think like AI film, like a filmmaker is going to change in the future?
I think one of the things that overwhelm, my fellow friends and technicians is they feel AI is coming to take over my job. Whereas AI on its own isn't coming. I think it's a person using AI who's gonna maybe be able to create things at a better budget in a more efficient way. So I think it's, as you and I were discussing, it's a skill gap. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's not really something that all the current techniques cannot learn. Yeah. It's not that dumb. It's not that. I think it obviously is constantly changing, so it needs a certain amount of keeping up with things. And I think it's really a matter of that. And what is the second part of the question?
So, how do you think like the roles are going to evolve? Like photographers, videographers who have been doing traditional photography, video, like clicking a picture of a mountain. Now that you can create the same shot using an AI, how do you think these roles are going to evolve?
Well, first of all, I really hope that it's not complete eradication of how we've done things, right? I think there is still a lot of value in taking a photo through a camera of and creating a moment that is real in front of you. I think there is huge value in that. In the same way, I mean, also the kind of movies I make, for me, the most enjoyable part is to bring actors in a room and see how that energy transpires between people and how does that change the scene, right? So for me, it's not entirely a substitute for that. What I think it does, it kind of aids your creation. But I think with AI, one of the things that I think even I'm trying to see is that I don't think it's just an addition to filmmaking process. I think it's gonna rewire the filmmaking process. That means the pipeline is gonna change. That means how we create is gonna change. Yes. And I think especially the job of the director is gonna change. So at this point, the director is somebody who goes has budget, spends money on a movie set, on camera, on resources, on a crew. But now, if you can do all of this sitting in a studio, then what is the role for director? I think it's still about bringing energy together and people together and following that one vision. But pipelines are probably changing dramatically, and I think that's really where I think I'm trying to really understand and see how can we integrate this better. And I think if we don't integrate it, we'll find it too late for us to design the pipeline. Then it will be given to us. I think if we step in now, we can choose how to design the workflow and pipeline as we think should be right for a creator like that. Yeah. Right? If you wait for 3 years, studios and systems would have built the pipeline that they think is best for you to follow, and you will follow that.
But second, I feel like you have a very strong moat for yourself. You have been in the industry for so long. You have worked on original stuff, and AI is something which is disrupting the industry now. But the people who are entering the industry now, like the Shakuns who are 20-year-old right now, how should they be thinking about building a career in this industry? Like, what should their move be?
Well, that's funnily exactly why I feel AI is really important because, I am fortunate enough that I can still go talk to studios and get money for a film that I want to make now. But I think there will be kids who'll be 21, 22, 25. And the new creator economy, they start creating very early. Previously, a filmmaker turned a director, in your late 20s, early 30s. You've done a lot of assisting work. Even though you know is the story you want to tell, you have to go through the whole drill. And I think now, a young filmmaker, 21, will not have to. And why should he? If he can tell a story the way he has envisioned it with the new tools, he probably doesn't have to work 10 years and he can straight away get me telling you and making you experience a story that they see. So to me, I really think that that's why it's unfair for us to say that nobody should use AI because there are so many people who want to tell stories, who have great stories. And I think it's unfair for us to say that you can only tell a story once you get a budget, once you get camera, once you get actors, once you get location. So that will take 10 years of a life and you may still not get the budget you want. And now budget is not a leverage point anymore, right? And I think now vision is a leverage. And I think that really for me is very exciting as a young filmmaker. For me, I want to spend time learning storytelling, learning the tools enough so that when I prompt, I know what I want to create out of it.
I love that. I so love your vision. And like I come from the AI world where we are just like building tools, thinking the world will use it a certain way. And to see how you have picked up these tools and like you're using it in such creative ways, very fascinating. I want to see what are your top three tools? Like what are your go-to tools that sort of covers most of the work that's done?
Well, I guess right now, if you're a filmmaker, uh, entirely because of the pipeline. You need an image creation tool, which most people need in Midjourney. Then you need to go to video creation, and I think for that, between video and Clean are two solid tools. And then I think for post production, I think most all the young kids are using CapCut. Yeah, and they're using 11 Labs. I heard about a new tool called MM. Yeah, I mean, like actually at the summit, I've been really like, going up with people and like, what are the tools you are using? What's your pipeline? And what do you think does better? For what's a better tool for this? What's a better tool for that? And that's the fun of it, right? And I think one of the things that I'm starting to feel again is this community experience that the creators are building, because there is only that much that one person can learn, but everyone's learning something and you're sharing it each other, and I think that's so fascinating.
That's how the ecosystem goes. It's so fascinating. Thank you.
Great, thanks.